Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? Hope you are doing great. So in this video I am going to teach you how to cut a princess dart and also how to pad your princess dart. Okay, so keep watching. So I started off by marking my starting point and I placed my tape on a straight line. Then I marked my bust point 10.5 and my underbust point, which is 14.5, then my half length, which is 18 inches. Then I marked a straight line. So next thing I'm going to do is to mark my chest point. So my chest point is 8.5. So once I'm done marking my chest point, the next thing I'm going to do is to go in and label my points. So once I'm done labeling my points, the next thing I'm going to do, this is my waist point, that is the 18 inches, and I'm done labeling it. So next thing I'm going to do is to divide my shoulder measurement by 2. So my shoulder measurement is 17 inches divided by 2 is 8.5 plus half inch seam allowance, making it 9 inches. So I took the 9 inches down to my chest point, then I marked a straight line. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to divide my armhole length by 2 and mark the center. Then I'm going to go in by 3/4 inch. So I'm going to go in by 3/4 inch. Then I'll make my armhole curve. So guys, once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to mark my neck depth and my neck width. My neck width is 3.5 while my neck depth is 4 inches. Then I'm going to connect the lines. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to go down by half inch on the edge of my shoulder. Then I'll connect it to my neck width. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to check the distance of the design we're about to make, the yoke, the distance of the yoke. So I'm going to make 6 inches, mark 6 inches as the distance of the yoke. Okay, so this is where the yoke is going to stop, the yoke of the upper bodies, that's the yoke. So once I'm done with that, so we're going to start working on the down part. So I divided my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4.5. Then I connected it from my bust point down to the waist point. That is my nipple to nipple measurement, 4.5. Then next thing I'm going to do is to go in by 1 inch in and 1 inch out, 1 inch out and 1 inch in. Then I'll mark a straight line. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to curve the bust point from the under bust to the bust point. I'll curve it with my ruler. So after curving it, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to identify my yoke. So this is my yoke and we are going to work on the remaining side. So I marked 4.5 inches nipple to nipple measurement and I extended the lines to the upper chest. So once I'm done with that, I am going to tighten my bust by going in by 1.5 inch on this side and 1.5 inch. It's not even up to 1, it's 1.1 and 2/8. So I went in by 1 and 2/8 and I went out by 1 and 2/8 to enable me tighten it properly. So I'm going to connect the lines this way And once I am done, I am going to mark down the places that is supposed to be cut out. So it's time to start adding the measurements. So I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 4 on the chest line, because we're going to use the chest measurement on the bust line too. So we have 10 and 6/8. Then I will add 1.5 inch that was removed at this nipple to nipple place, and extra 3 inches for seam allowance. Then on the bust, we are going to put down the same thing we did on the chest. So everything was 15.5, and I added the 15.5. So on the waistline, I'm going to divide my waist measurement. My under bust line, I'm going to divide my under bust divide by 4. So my under bust divide by 4 is 9 and 6/8, plus 2 inches that we removed, and extra 3 inches for seam allowance. Then on the waist, my waist is 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 2 inches that we removed and 3 inches for seam allowance. Then we connect the lines. So once I'm done, I'm going to extend the lines. So the next thing is to remove the 2.5 inches on the for tightening of the bust, and we extend it outside the armhole, so making the armhole wider because of the bust tightening. So we widened the armhole, added it at the back of the armhole, so that the bust tightening is just removing what you have on the center and add it at the ending of the at the side of the armhole. Okay, so it's time to start cutting out. So this is what the front piece of the armhole, the shoulder princess that looks like. That is a half length of the shoulder princess that looks like without the bust, the yoke. Okay, without the yoke. So we are trying to make the back piece. So for the back piece, it doesn't require much. You just have to mark your chest point, your full length. So I have my chest point and my full length. So the length is not the full length, the half length of the gown, because I'm making a gown. So the purpose of this video is to teach you how to make a princess dart, and also how to part a princess dart. So I'm cutting out the back of the princess dart, how the back of a princess dart should look like, especially the one that has a yoke. So after marking out the vertical points, I'm trying to mark out my zipper allowance. So this is for my zip. So next thing I'm going to do is to put my shoulder circumference divided by 2. So I have 9, it's 17, which is supposed to be 8.5, plus half inch seam allowance, making it 9. Then I marked it down to the chest point, and I divide what I have, the center of the armhole length. So I'm going to go in by 3/4 inch, then I curve it with my ruler, just the way we did at the front. So once I'm done doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my bust circumference. Okay, sorry, before doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my nipple to nipple measurement. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 4.5, divided by 2 is 4.5. So I'm going to mark my back depth. So I'm going to use half inch as my back depth. I'll connect it all the way to the chest line. So next thing is to add curve our zip, okay, so that it won't be bulgy at the back. So this is my first time cutting this type of making this type of zip, okay. So I am going to curve it this way. This is the way I'm going to curve it in. Then I'll mark 1 inch in. So just watch how I'm going to do it. I made a mistake at first, so I'm going to mark from here, then go up, connect it in a chamfer form, okay. So I'm going to mark 1 inch like this, 1 inch. The purpose of this is just to curve the waist point, okay, just to curve the waist of the back, so that the zip will not be bulgy. So I went in by 1 inch at the waist. So this is our zipper allowance. So next thing I'm going to do is to start adding our measurements. So my bust circumference divided by 4 plus 3 inches seam allowance. The waist measurement divided by 4 plus 3 inches. Remember we added 3 inches at the front piece. So 3 inches. Then I'm going to connect the lines. And so next thing I'm going to do is to mark my curve, my back curve, because it's not going to be straight. I want to design the back, the curving of the back. So I'm going to go down by 6 inches, but no, Abby. So 6 inches, I mark 6 inches because we are going to join it at 6 inches. Then I curved it this way. So this is the curving that is going to have at the back. So what next? So we are done. This is the yoke of the back. So I'm going to start cutting out now. So I'm going to start cutting out. So remember we went down by 6 inches at the front. So to make a designing at the back, I went to my armhole and I marked 6 inches, then curve it down. So we're going trying to cut out everything. So guys, it's time to start cutting it out on the material, directly on the material. So we are done cutting out a princess that the front and back piece. So let's cut out directly on the material right now. So guys, this is it after cutting out, using the pieces to cut the pattern to cut out directly on the material. Then I added the gum stud to it. As you can see, I gum stud everything. So the back darts, this is how it looks like. I had to cut it open so I won't make mistake with the darts. And this is the lining. I also cut out the lining. So here I'm going to teach you how you can sew. This is the yoke. You can see the yoke. This is the back yoke. The yoke has a net, so it's going to have a net. And this is the front yoke. So that is it for the cutting out. So I'm going to teach you how you can successfully pad your bustier. So padding your bustier, the first thing you're going to do is to mark the underbust, because the padded is going to stop at the underbust. Then mark ½ inch down, because you're going to use ½ inch to join it at the upper area. So I'm going to cut off, I'm still going to cut out the ½ inch. So here I'm going to go down by ½ inch at the side of the princess, that then go in by 5 inch. because my customer, she has a bust, she's busty. Then go in by 1 inch. Then I'll connect the lines. If you don't have bust like that, you go in by 4 inches or 4.5, depending on how busty your client is. So I'm making a bust of 43. So this is, we are going to cut this out. And cut this out. So this is what we'll be needing for the princess dart padding. So I'm going to bring my padded, then I'll cut this out directly on the padded. Okay, I'm going to use the padded to cut it out. This is the padded I'm going to make use of. So I'm going to fold it into 2 for the center, because we have just 1 piece for the center. It's supposed to be 2 pieces. So this is the center. I placed it this way and I cut it out. The scissors wasn't sharp. I had to change another scissors to cut it out. So make sure you cut exactly what you have. Don't add, don't minus. So this is for the center piece, as you can see. So this is for the center piece. I'm going to use this side to make 2 of it, one for the other, for the 2 sides of the bustier. Make sure you trim it very well. So I'm going to use this and I'm going to place, I'm looking for where the gum is. So the gum is going to be on the fabric, directly on the fabric. So I'm cutting out the second side. So guys, so I'm going to place it on my fabric right now. So for the center, I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch. So I want to make sure that I went down by 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to use my pencil to mark my 1/2 inch. Then I'll connect it, then place it after the 1/2 inch. So this is how I placed it. Okay, so this is how I ironed this side and placed it. So guys, I'm going to, after ironing it, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, because we are going to join it this way. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Take 1/2 inch, mark it all the way, 1/2 inch all the way. Then I'm going to sew on the line. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on the other side. But first off, let us finish up on this side. Let's go over to the machine and stitch up this place. So I'm going to take this line and I'm going to sew it through this way. Follow the lines and sew through. So once I'm done, I'm going to do exactly what I did on the other side. So as you can see, the padded is pointing already. So it's pointing out already. So I'm going to do exactly what we just did. I'm going to do it on the other side. So after sewing, joining the bustier princess dart together, so I'm going to take it over to the table and iron it very well. So this is my ironing, what do they call it, self? I don't forget. So I'm going to iron it with I created it myself anyways. I use it to sew my corset and princess dart as well. So after ironing it, make sure you iron it very well, open it very wide and iron it. It makes your work very easy. Iron it down very well. Iron it down very well. So I think we have come to the end of this video. So this is what it looks like after padding up your princess dart. I think the purpose of this video is just to teach you how you can successfully pad your princess dart. Okay, your brows, your princess dart have length for your gown, for your blouse, for your everything. So if you want to add padded to it, this, as you can see, this is how it came out, very beautiful and nice. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe, like, share and comment on my videos. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.